The tapestry of world history is intricately woven with the threads of power and progress, showcasing a dynamic interplay between regions and civilizations. From the rise of Europe in the 15th century to the ascendance of Asia in the 21st century, the narrative of shifting centers of power reveals a cyclical pattern, marked by periods of dominance, conflict, and transformation. To understand this evolution, one must first delve into the age of exploration, the scientific revolution, and the industrial revolution, which collectively propelled Europe to the forefront of global influence. The 15th century heralded the age of exploration, a time when European nations embarked on ambitious voyages across uncharted waters. Fueled by a thirst for knowledge, wealth, and trade routes, explorers like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama opened new horizons for Europe. This era not only expanded geographical knowledge, but also initiated the establishment of colonial empires. Spain and Portugal, followed by England, France, and the Netherlands, set the stage for an age of imperialism that would see vast territories in the Americas, Africa, and Asia subjected to European control. The influx of resources from these colonies, particularly gold, silver, and spices, enriched European nations and fostered an environment ripe for innovation. The scientific revolution, which unfolded in the 16th and 17th centuries, further solidified Europe's dominance. Thinkers such as Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton challenged established paradigms, laying the groundwork for modern science. This intellectual awakening not only transformed understanding of the natural world, but also fueled advancements in technology and industry. The subsequent Industrial Revolution in the late 18th and early 19th centuries marked a seismic shift in production methods, transitioning from agrarian economies to industrial powerhouses. Innovations in machinery, steam power, and transportation revolutionized the way goods were produced and consumed, giving European nations a significant edge over the rest of the world. However, this era of European supremacy was not without its internal conflicts. The devastating toll of World War I and World War II fundamentally altered the landscape of power. The Great War, which erupted in 1914, shattered the old order, leading to the collapse of empires and the redrawing of national borders. The Treaty of Versailles, which sought to impose punitive measures on Germany, sowed the seeds of resentment that would later contribute to the rise of fascism and the outbreak of World War II. This second global conflict, which raged from 1939 to 1945, further decimated Europe, leading to widespread destruction and loss of life. The aftermath of these wars left European nations weakened, both economically and politically, paving the way for a new power to emerge on the world stage. As Europe grappled with the consequences of its internal strife, the United States rose to prominence in the 20th century. The U.S. entered World War I in its later stages, contributing to the Allied victory and positioning itself as a key player in the post-war order. However, it was World War II that truly catapulted America into the role of a global superpower. With its industrial might and technological prowess, the U.S. emerged relatively unscathed from the war, while much of Europe lay in ruins. The Marshall Plan, designed to aid in the reconstruction of Europe, further solidified America's influence, as it provided crucial financial support to war-torn nations, fostering economic recovery and political stability. In the decades that followed, the United States became synonymous with technological and cultural leadership. The Cold War era saw the U.S. engage in a fierce ideological battle, with the Soviet Union promoting democracy and capitalism as the superior systems. The space race, epitomized by the Apollo moon landing in 1969, showcased American ingenuity and ambition, while the rise of Hollywood and American pop culture permeated global consciousness. Economically, the U.S. dollar became the world's reserve currency, cementing America's role as the hegemonic power of the era. Yet, as the 20th century drew to a close, the narrative of power began to shift once again, this time towards Asia. Japan's post-war reconstruction, an economic miracle in the latter half of the century, marked a significant development. Emerging from the ashes of World War II, Japan adopted a unique model of economic growth, characterized by a blend of state intervention and private enterprise. The country became a global leader in industries such as automobiles and electronics, with companies like Toyota and Sony gaining international acclaim. However, the limitations of this growth became apparent in the 1990s as Japan faced economic stagnation, often referred to as the lost decade. The challenges of an aging population, deflation, and a rigid corporate culture stunted the momentum that had propelled Japan to prominence. As Japan grappled with its economic challenges, the focus of global attention shifted towards China in the 21st century. The reforms initiated by Deng Xiaoping in the late 1970s set the stage for China's transformation into a major manufacturing and technological powerhouse. Emphasizing market-oriented reforms while maintaining a one-party state, China experienced unprecedented economic growth, lifting millions out of poverty. The country became the world's factory, producing goods at an astonishing scale. With the Belt and Road Initiative, China expanded its influence through global investments in infrastructure, positioning itself as a key player in international trade. China's military modernization and assertive foreign policy have further underscored its challenge to U.S. dominance. The South China Sea disputes and the Belt and Road Initiative reflect China's ambitions to reshape the global order. As the 21st century progresses, the implications of this shift in power dynamics are profound. Demographic changes, technological diffusion, and cultural realignments are reshaping the world in ways that require adaptation and collaboration rather than resistance. The cyclical nature of power transitions throughout history reveals a pattern of rise and decline, driven by internal strengths and external limitations. Each Colonial Empire has faced challenges that ultimately led to its waning influence, whether through wars, economic crises, or socio-political upheaval. The rise of emerging powers, particularly in regions like Africa and Southeast Asia, suggests that the narrative of power is far from static. As new players enter the global arena, the potential for collaboration and innovation increases, offering opportunities for shared progress. In conclusion, history is a continuous evolution, marked by the shifting centers of power that reflect the complexities of human society. The transitions from Europe to America, and now to Asia, illustrate the inevitability of change in the global landscape. As we look to the future, it is essential to recognize that these shifts are not merely a contest for dominance, but rather a call for cooperation and understanding. The challenges of the 21st century, from climate change to technological disruption, demand a collective response that transcends borders and ideologies. Embracing the lessons of history, we must navigate the complexities of this new era with an open mind, recognizing that the power dynamics of tomorrow will be shaped by the choices we make today.